New at 10, your next trip to the beach could look a lot different thanks to a new RV resort and beach club that's being built on the Bolivar Peninsula. Now, developers say it's time for folks along the peninsula to start vacationing in style.
And the plans for this look like something you'd see in Florida or for South Padre Island. 12 News reporter Amelia White spent the day on the site down at Bolivar. Tonight, she looks at the amenities that resort will offer and why developers brought it here.
Are y'all going to put up the lights over here in this room too?
It started off as an idea.
This was dreamed over last year during COVID.
And now it's turning into a reality for owner and developer Brad Ballard.
Came up with the Bolivar Beach Club and RV Resort.
A resort like no other is coming right here to Bolivar Beach in the fall.
We dreamed of this amazing opportunity for people to come to the beach and bring their RVs and vacation with us in a resort-like setting.
Ballard closed the deal on this land in late April. Crews broke ground 2 weeks later, and this resort is not just for those with RVs.
We've got 64 cabanas around it. We have air-conditioned cabana suites.
You want to know what's unique about this soon-to-be RV resort? It'll be the home of the largest pool of any RV resort in this country. But that's not the only cool feature.
We're one of the very few RV resorts on the upper Texas coast that is on the beach. Most everybody else is across the highway.
Ballard considers that a plus.
And we've got the beach, which is the trillion-dollar amenity that you don't have to pay for.
With 150 acres of beachfront, folks can expect to enjoy the waves, the sand, and entertainment all at once.
Everything they could ever want in a vacation. This would be a one-stop shop, resort feel here at the Bolivar Beach Club.
But there is a bigger picture behind this new commercial project.
Because there's so little entertainment here on the peninsula.
Ballard says he hopes other businesses will follow in his footsteps.
We think that there's a lot of businesses that will follow us, whether it's more shops and more restaurants.
So that this community can get the true vacation or getaway they deserve.
The Southeast Texas market, the Houston market, it deserves this beach to be developed in a way that's done for the people to come down
on the Bolivar Peninsula. Amelia White. 12 News.
We feel like we're going to do really well.
All right, also new at 10, it looks like the city of Beaumont is going to vote next week on whether to purchase the old AT&T building downtown. It's the latest chapter in a building battle that's divided the city. Here's why. The building sold to Tom Flanagan for more than $2 million in an online auction in 2019. Well, the city also bid on it, but obviously lost out. Now it appears they're still fighting for the property. An item on the agenda next week would consider giving the city manager authorization to buy the building at 555 Main. It's unclear why the city would want it. Years ago, there was talk of using the land for riverfront development.
Well, no doubt that building will be one thing that Beaumont's next mayor will have to tackle. Early voting will continue tomorrow in the runoff between Roy West and Robin Mouton. So far, turnout has been relatively slim. Both candidates are encouraging people to get out and vote this weekend, regardless of whether they voted in the May election. West says he's been walking neighborhoods trying to rally voters, while Mouton is doing plenty of door knocking.
Even though you voted May 1st, with this being a new runoff election, you must get out and vote again.
Everybody gets to vote fresh, so if you're registered to vote and you didn't vote, please come out and vote.
They agree on that, right? Political expert Tom Tassinger telling us the upcoming runoff election is significant, but he warns that low turnout could be an issue based on the timing of the election. The actual election day, Saturday, June 19th, which is Juneteenth, a holiday. Now, that is certainly a reason for you to vote early. You can stop by all 4 polling places tomorrow between 8 and 5. Polls will be closed Sunday. Early voting hours Monday and Tuesday are 7 to 7. We've got all of this info at 12newsnow.com.
And tomorrow we'll be watching what happens in Vidor. Voters there will be picking a new mayor. This is a runoff as well, with 2 candidates on the ballot. Misty Sanjay, a salesperson, will face Ronnie Herrera, the owner of Herrera's Towing. Polls will be open tomorrow from 7 to 7 at 385 Claiborne Street. Turnout's been low. Less than 10% of the registered voters in Vidor have cast ballots in the city's runoff election.
I want to turn now to that hot weekend forecast. If you thought today was toasting, well, we're going to add a degree or 2 tomorrow. Still warm out there tonight as you look live at the Roofing 911 Skycam just outside our studio. Patrick is with us here at 10. And Patrick, you're thinking tomorrow should stay dry?
Yeah, tomorrow will be dry. It's Sunday that we could see a round of thunderstorms. Forecast for tomorrow, again, about a degree or 2 warmer. And that means heat indices that got to 101 in Beaumont today will probably be around 103 tomorrow. Lots of sun, hot and humid. Sunday, though, we're going to go with about a 30 to 40% coverage of thunderstorms. If those storms come in during the hottest part of the afternoon, they will create quite a bit of lightning, something to keep in the back of your head. Otherwise, looking at mostly clear skies outside right now. It's warm, it's humid, as temperatures are around 80 degrees, and that means heat indices, it feels like 89. Congratulations, Orange. You're the warmest heat index this evening. Otherwise, a dry Saturday, scattered showers and thunderstorms expected pretty much every day over the next, say, 10 days. We'll talk about Friday and Saturday of next week in just a few minutes.
Well, right now, Southeast Texas is in the spotlight thanks to problems at the federal prison in Beaumont. A new national report highlights the prison's lack of security. We've tracked the trouble for years with inmates escaping, and we're not alone. 29 inmates escaped federal lockups in 18 months. 12 of those inmates who escaped in 2020 from prisons in Florida, California, Louisiana, Texas, Colorado, well, they're still on the run. The Beaumont facility has been notorious for these types of escapes. Officials say inmates often walk off the prison grounds to retrieve drugs and other contraband that's dropped off in the woods near the prison. Then they just walk back in without anyone noticing. These escapes have caught the attention of the Justice Department's Inspector General. This week, their office issued a memo highlighting the prison's biggest glaring security gaps. So according to the new federal memo, in one case, 4 inmates sneaked out and went undetected for more than 12 hours, even though prison officials conducted 3 different inmate counts overnight. The inmates put dummies in their beds to trick the officers. You can read more about the troubling claims right now on our app.
Well, tonight we have our first look at 2 suspects arrested in connection to this crazy chase that crisscrossed Southeast Texas. Turns out both of these guys are wanted for murder. This started yesterday afternoon when the deputy pulled over a Nissan Maxima with Mississippi tags. The deputy started checking things and realized something was up. He found out the passenger, 19-year-old Taj Taplin from Louisiana, was wanted for murder. The driver, who identified himself as Tommy Butler, got into a struggle with the officer. Officers realized his real name is Cardavian White. They arrested him. The passenger, Taplin, then jumped into the driver's seat and took off, and the chase was on. From Chambers County, down I-10, through Beaumont, and then across through Orange County, and finally across the state line into Louisiana. And that's where Taplin crashed. He's in jail, last we heard, still in Louisiana. White remains in the custody of Chambers County deputies. Now, a bunch of departments are working together, trying to connect the dots on this one.
In case you missed it, a man who was recently sentenced to prison has died behind bars. Last month, Ronald Golo of Beaumont was sentenced to 45 years after pleading guilty to setting a fire to a garage in Old Town, killing his friend in 2019. Golo died in Huntsville while in custody of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. He was 52.
2 passengers on board one of the first fully vaccinated simulation cruises have tested positive for COVID. The 2 guests boarded the Celebrity Cruises Millennium ship. Their tests came back positive during the end of cruise testing. That happens 3 days before they get back to the U.S. Royal Caribbean says the passengers are now in quarantine, and by the way, they are both asymptomatic. The company says it's proof that, quote, rigorous health and safety protocols work to protect crew, guests, and the communities they visit.
More road work will slow you down this weekend on I-10 in Orange County. Right now, there are lane closures westbound from the state line to Highway 87. That work ends late Saturday. I-10 eastbound will have lane closures at Adams Bayou from 8 p.m. Saturday until 5 p.m. Sunday. And then starting Monday, crews will be working on medians between Highway 12 and Highway 62. Expect more lane closures there.
Now tomorrow, Southeast Texas comes together to celebrate Pride. Everybody will meet at the Beaumont Civic Center before noon to walk along the sidewalk for a commemorative march to Poor Brothers Brewery. And that is where the family-friendly party will continue with music, performances, drag shows. The outdoor event is free and will continue until 6:30. Right now, President Biden is on the world stage. He's in Europe for the G7 summit, the first one of these since the pandemic.
Leaders had their first face-to-face gathering in more than a year. As you can see, they were socially distanced. Maybe in a second you'll see it, but they didn't wear masks.
There they are.
And right there in the center, Queen Elizabeth. President Biden and the others exchanged elbow bumps 24 hours after he announced the U.S. would donate 500 million COVID vaccines to poorer nations. The other G7 countries agreed to join the effort to reach 1 billion doses.
it's wonderful to listen to the Biden administration and to Joe Biden, because there's so much that they want to do together.
The Biden family had dinner with the royal family. On Sunday, President Biden will be the 5th U.S. president to sip tea with the Queen at Windsor Castle. The end of Biden's trip to Europe will feature a sit-down with Russian President Vladimir Putin, a meeting in which the president plans to address some of the issues the U.S. is dealing with Russia.